Hey, it's Karl again, Realty Executives Tucson Elite. Thanks for stopping by today. Today we're going to go ahead and cover some of the more important skills you need. Remember, the whole basis of a lot of these courses is to get you a strong foundation when you're starting out your real estate career. So many of this stuff may be pretty simplistic for many of you because you may have already gone through it. But in case you haven't, or maybe you wanted to go ahead and just see if there's anything new to think about, these are 20 skills that I think you need to have in order to go ahead and be successful in real estate. Let me go ahead and just level these out, and then over the next couple days what we'll do is we'll spend some time breaking down into each one of these skills so you can go ahead and have a clear understanding about what it is you need to do to build your business. The first skill that you need to have is time management. That's the granddaddy of them all. You've got to have the foundation there with the time management, because if you can't get this skill down straight, the rest of them will make no sense at all. The next one, okay, you need to have the skill of prospecting. Now, you know that I'm a big proponent of the Mike Ferry system. Now, there are a lot of ways of prospecting, but before you click this video off, keep in mind that there are a lot of different ways to prospect, okay? It doesn't necessarily have to be cold calling or just for sale by owners or expireds, just to just solds. Although those are the most efficient ways to do it, it doesn't mean that that's the only way to do it. But you do need to find a way to get new business in, and so that's a skill that you need to develop for yourself, is figuring out how it is that you're going to do it. The next skill, of course, is your past clients' center of influence. Now, if you were to come and work for me on my team, one of the very first things that you're going to have is I'm going to sit you down and we're going to go over your schedule, and we're going to make a schedule that makes sense for you. And then the next thing we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and start working on your past clients and your center of influence. I want to have you compile a list of everybody you know who could maybe refer you a deal, and then we're going to start working on prospecting to those people who already know you to see if maybe we can get you some fast cash. So you've got to have a develop a system so you can contact your past clients and center of influence quickly, efficiently, and regularly. Okay? The next skill that you need to have is pre-qualification. See, because it doesn't make a difference how many appointments you get from prospecting. It doesn't matter who your center of influence is. It doesn't matter how great your time is if you're making crappy appointments and going on appointments that really get you nowhere. So we've got to learn a system, if you will, of pre-qualifying those leads that you find so you don't spend a lot of time going out on worthless appointments. The next skill you need to work on is lead follow-up. What do you do with the leads that you do find? What do you do with the leads that are going to be of any value? Once they've got through that pre-qualification step, you know that they're golden. You've got to develop a system so that you can continually follow up with these people and make sure that nobody falls through the cracks. Make sure that no no stone goes unturned, no lead goes unconverted, so to speak. Okay? Next, the next skill that you would need to learn would be your listing presentation. It is true. Those who list last, okay? It's a lot easier to control 10 listings, all right, and have the rest of the board working for you than it is to have, 10 buyers and trying to control them. That's a nightmare, and it's just a nightmare waiting to happen. When you're out there trying to show these people homes, you don't have any time to yourself. If you want to control your life, if you want to make it to where it's worthwhile, then you have got to have a solid listing presentation. Listen to me one more time, okay? It's very, very rare that I will say this to you in this fashion, but I got to be honest with you. If you are not listing property regularly, it will be a hard life for you, okay? It's going to be hard. You have to learn to list, all right? We'll teach you here. I can help you. We provide coaching for this. If you want to help, have coaching, I provide coaching on a half-hour basis once a week for a lot of different people in the company. It doesn't matter if you're in our company or not. If you are, great. If you're not, fantastic. give us a call. I'm happy to help coach you through this, okay? It's at no charge to you. Again, it's just simply just trying to pay it forward. But you have got to learn how to list, all right? The next skill is pricing. You've got to learn how, once you've got the lead, once you've made your time, once you've set up all the things you need to set up and you made your presentation, now it's time for you to, of course, learn how to go ahead and price the property in such a manner that it'll sell. Because there's nothing worse than having 10 listings that don't sell because of bad prices. What ends up happening is the seller gets frustrated, you get frustrated, and the next thing you know, you've wasted 2 or 3 months of your life, and it's horrible. So listen, you have got to learn pricing. We can show you how to do that too here in the next coming days. All right? The next skill, handling objections. Handling objections. You see, believe it or not, sometimes a seller will not necessarily agree with you. Okay? They'll not agree with you on things like price. They'll not necessarily agree with you things like the length of listing, how much they should pay, who they should list with, what they're going to have you do. So you've got to learn techniques and tips and tricks on how to go ahead and handle those questions when they come up. And so that's a skill that you need to work on. The next skill that I'd have you work on, if you were working with me, is closing. Listen, closing is nothing more than a natural ending to a great presentation. You have a good dinner, okay, there's dessert and coffee. That's just the way it is. You expect it. The waiter always asks you, would you like dessert with that? It's expected. It'd feel kind of strange if you went into a nice restaurant, had a great dinner, and the waiter just came up and said, hey, here's your check, have a nice night. That would seem kind of odd to you. Likewise, with a seller, it seems very strange when you come in, you make a presentation, say, okay, guys, thanks a lot for having me over. I'll see you later. Okay? They expect you to close. So we need to learn how to do it. All right? Now, the next skill that you need to learn, okay? 10. That's the skill of negotiations. Listen, most realtors think they're great at negotiations, when the fact is they're not. Most people are horrible at negotiations. And the reason why is because deals fall through left and right, not because of the appraisal, not because of the termites, not because of the inspections. It's because the agents get in the way and they don't allow the seller and the buyer to go ahead and make this deal happen. You listen, they want to make it happen. You just got to find a way to help them get what they want. And the art of negotiation will help you get through this if you know how to do it properly. We're going to go through that in the next couple days too. All right? 11. The next skill you need to learn, oh my goodness, how to work with buyers. Now listen, in this marketplace, okay, you're going to have to work with some buyers. May not be something comfortable, may not be something you like, but right now the market is rife with deals. I mean, there's a lot of great deals out there. The REO market in Tucson at the moment makes about 41% of the market, which is an awesome thing for you because your buyers can find a great deal. So if you can find a way to attract, convert, and work with some highly motivated buyers, there's a lot of money there for you if you can do it successfully. We'll go over that too. Number 12, the next skill that you need to learn is admin and staffing. Because when you're going to start generating a lot of deals, you're going to start needing to go ahead and find ways to get paperwork done in an efficient manner to where you're not bogged down with all the admin stuff that you have to do. When I started real estate 16 years ago, the contract was about 2 pages long at 8.5 by 11. It wasn't very big. There was a lead-based paint disclosure. There was that, maybe a disclosure for any kind of defects that you had, but that was it. It was nowhere near a 9-page contract that we have today and a 10-page property disclosure statement. A page for this, a page for that. I mean, there was a million pages. You didn't have that then. Okay, now paperwork is just off the charts, okay? So you've got to develop systems on how you can go ahead and make this an easy transition for you so that does not bog down your day, okay? Remember, 20% of your time needs to be working on admin. 80% of the time you need to be working on finding new business, okay? So, 13. Customer service. Now, I'll be honest with you, okay? I've not always been the greatest at this. And customer service is really simple. Basically, customer services, they want to know what's going on. You got to be able to tell them in a cohesive fashion what it is that's going on with their property at any given time so they know that you're on top of it. That's all they want to know. They want to know that you're on top of it. They want to know what you're doing, see what you can do to get the home sold, that you're not just resting on your laurels waiting for things to happen, okay? So we're going to go over some different techniques that you can use for customer service, all right? 14. You have to have some kind of business plan. Now, business planning, okay, for a realtor is almost an oxymoron, okay? A lot of times we like to just jump into this business. Hey, you can't tell me what to do. You know, I've got this down. I know what I need to do. Look, without a plan, you're like a ship without a rudder. Okay, you're just going to end up wherever the wind and tide takes you. All right. So a business plan is really important for what you need to do in your business. If you want to go anywhere, you got to have a plan. We'll go over how to do that too. 15. Oh my goodness, knowing your numbers. It's been said in a lot of different training manuals, a lot of different sales books, a lot of different sales courses that I've been through, and I'm sure you've probably been through, how important it is to know your numbers. And what I mean by knowing your numbers, I simply mean this. You have to keep track of how many people you talk to on a regular basis, how many conversations you have, how many presentations you have, so you can find out what is it that it takes to get a deal done. So, for example, if you knew that by talking to 30 people a day, I was able to go ahead and make 3 deals happen in a month, okay, then that would give you some motivation. If you knew, for example, that by making 2 presentations, I'm able to take 1 listing, then you have some encouragement when things aren't going right, okay? But you'll never know these things unless you actually track those numbers and are able to tell exactly what you're doing. So we'll need to go ahead and go into a system about that too. Practicing and developing skills. Now listen, okay, I'm going to be honest. I've heard a lot of people on the phone, and I've heard a lot of people in presentations and objection handlers and things of that nature, and I got to tell you, it's pretty sad. The thing is that, if you don't know what to say in any given sales situation, then you're going to sound terrible. And the seller is going to, or the buyer is going to have a lot of hard time believing why they should do what you say if you're kind of, I think maybe you should, if you're hemming and hawing and having problems with what to say, listen, they're going to have a hard time following what you're saying and doing what you're asking. So what you've got to do is you've got to be able to develop a system where you can practice and develop the skills that it takes to become a salesperson, okay? Things like how to say things in terms of a presentation, how to talk on the phone, how to mirror and match someone, how to go ahead and handle their objections in a polite and cohesive but firm way. So what we're going to talk about is practicing and developing, the skill it takes to go ahead and develop those skills. Okay? 17. Mindset. It's been said that, life is 90% attitude and 10% altitude, okay? Meaning that the way you think about things, okay, is going to carry you a lot farther than the place that you're currently in. So, for example, you may say, well, I can't really have a great sales job. I can't have a great sales career because I'm not smooth. I'm not polished. I don't come across as well as he or she does. I don't have the same clothes that they do. I don't have the same kind of car that they do. That's just simply altitude. That's just what they have at the moment, okay? But if your attitude, okay, is much better than theirs, that's going to carry you a lot further, okay, than having flashy clothes and you know, great voice and all that. You can have a great voice, great command of the scripts, know what to say, but if you have a poor attitude, you're not going anywhere, okay? But if you have a great attitude, and maybe your skills aren't so great, then hey, your enthusiasm is going to carry you a lot farther than it might have otherwise, okay? You can never lose by having too much enthusiasm, all right? 18. Goals and motivation. Goals and motivations, okay? So what is it that takes you to that place? What is it that is so important to you that you've got to have it, okay? Now, I'm not talking about making it a specific goal that, yeah, I want to have a Jaguar XJS by the end of the year. I'm not saying, hey, I want to have $51,000 in savings by the end of the year. Although those are great goals, okay, the purpose here is, what is it that motivates you? What is it that you're doing all this for? You know, if you're saying, well, I want to do this because I want to take care of my family. Well, that's admirable, okay? Go get a job at Circle K, all right? You can take care of your family by going to Circle K. Because the fact is that that job will get you what you want. And I don't know if I'm talking to just me or if I'm talking to anybody else, but you have got to have goals that inspire you, okay? And the thing that I have learned in this very short period of time is that the goals that I had before to make an X amount of dollars or whatever, okay, they're good goals. But they could be accomplished any other way. I could go out and I could take care of my family by getting a job at Circle K. Okay, I get benefits, I'd have 401k. Yeah, maybe it's not the life I'd want, but I could take care of my family. Okay? So why do I choose real estate? Why do I choose this? What is that motivates it for you? Okay? Start asking yourself that question. And Tony Robbins had a great quote. He said, when you start asking yourself the right questions, then you'll get the right answers. Okay? So you got to ask yourself the right questions. What is it about real estate? What is it about what I'm doing? Why is this important to me? And don't make it some general answer about, well, I want to take care of my family. You can do that any other way. Why this? Why now? We'll go into that too. Okay? 19. I got to get a better eraser. All right. 2 more and then we're done. Okay? 19. Management. Because there's going to come a time when you're tired of doing this. Okay? There's going to come a time when you've said, you know what? Hey, I've made a boatload of dough. All right? And now I want to move into something else. And because of management that you've put into place, now you're able to kind of transition out of it and maybe move into something else that maybe is a little bit more exciting or maybe a little bit more profitable, okay? But you can never make that transition until you've got your management down. We'll go over some skills for that. And last but not least, the 20th skill I think you need to learn, last but not least, overall systems. I was sitting down at lunch just yesterday talking to an agent from a competing company, and he was telling me that this company that he's with, the guy is fantastic at systems, and he's got a system for everything. You go in there, they got a system for offers, they got a system for negotiating, they have a system for the buyers, they got a system for the sellers, they got a system for when the leads come in, who gets what, where it goes. It's just all systematized, and he was telling me about it, and it was fascinating. And the thing I would encourage you is to help think about, as we go along, what are the different systems that you're going to need to put in place to make this a fully functional operating business outside of you that does not require your attendance. When you have that, that's when you have a business, not just a job. So anyway, I hope this has been helpful. If it has, feel free to go ahead and rate, like, and subscribe down in the box below. And we'll be sure to go ahead and read that, answer any questions that you have. If you have any other questions, feel free to email me directly at Krentzel, that's KKREN as in November, TZEL @gmail.com, and I'll be happy to answer any questions that you may have. Thanks a lot for stopping by. We'll start hitting on these top 20 skills starting tomorrow. Thanks a lot. Have a great day, and make it a powerful selling day. Bye-bye.